All right, our first pose is all about grounding. So when we're doing trauma work, this is one of the first things to think about. So if something intense has happened to any of us, what do we want to do first? We want to find a stable, safe place to be. So even if you think in terms of physical safety, if God forbid, knock on wood, there's a tidal wave or an earthquake, I'm in California, so that does happen here. You're going to want to find your family, you're going to want to go home, you're going to want to feel that sense of grounding and safety. So similar and smaller examples, if something upsetting happens on the road while you're driving, if something really upsetting has happened in your life, we want to look for that ability to ground and connect. So one way to do that when you're sitting is to just feel your feet, or feel your feet on the floor, feel your seat in the seat. But I'm going to show you a yoga pose in a few minutes that's also helpful for grounding. And then I'll show you a variation of it that's helpful for soothing and balancing the nervous system. So this pose is called Prostituted Padottanasana. I don't care if you remember the Sanskrit name. It's basically a wide-legged stance and a forward fold. So you can watch first and then try it yourself. Remember to always be gentle with your body, and remember if you're working with someone to really communicate with them around what's comfortable, because we never want this practice to be overwhelming. Again, we're looking for that sense of safety, of grounding, and a little bit of comfort. So you ready? I'm ready. Here we go. So this is our first pose. It's called Prostituted Padottanasana. As I mentioned, it's a wide stance forward fold. Now you don't need to have really long hamstrings to do this. You can use a chair or a bed, or as I have here, I'll show you a ball to kind of lean towards to get the forward bending effect. Also, remember, you don't actually have to bend forward. So just the standing part of this pose is also helpful in grounding. So I'm going to back up and I'm going to talk a little louder so you can hear me, and I'm going to bring my ball with me, and if you have something that you are going to be leaning on, just be near that. You can watch first and then try. So to start, take your feet nice and wide apart, so they're about 3 or 4 feet apart. Just place your hands on your hips for now, and we're going to focus on the grounding aspect of this pose. So already it's a little bit challenging to balance. If you feel that, you can walk your feet a little bit closer together, but press down through your feet and bring some energy to your legs. So you're lifting your thighs, lifting your hamstrings, just engaging those muscles best you can for today. Now here, you can take a few breaths, really feeling your feet in contact with the floor. And you're welcome to stay here. Now, to get a little more of the effect of the balancing of your nervous system, you would start to fold forward. So again, for shorter hamstrings, and sometimes this is just biological, your hamstrings are short, or maybe you're an athlete, they're really tight from running or cycling, or you haven't stretched in a long time. The next step would be to bend forward. So you can take whatever's in front of you and start to reach for it and bend forward. Now, if it happens that your forearms and your head can rest, then rest them there. So you might feel now a big stretch in your hamstrings, yeah, in the back of your legs. That's okay. If it's too much, come back up and support yourself on your hands, okay? So you can be on your hands, you can be on your forearms. If it's comfortable, your head comes down. Now I'm going to show one more variation of this. So you want to hold for about 5 breaths, whichever variation is best for you, either staying here with your hands on your hips, supporting forward with your arms on the ball or a chair. If you're really open, say you've always been a dancer and your body's just sort of floppy all over the place, right? My mom was a contortionist, so my body moves a lot. If that's you, the next variation, again, this isn't like a better yoga pose or anything else. It does get a little more of an inversion in your upper body. So if that's you, you would exhale to fold forward. You can place your hands on the floor, or you can place your hands in between your feet and drop your head. All right, so that would be the next variation of Prostituted Padottanasana, to take your hands to the floor or to take your hands back in line with your feet. Don't worry too much about there's lots of variations of this pose. Don't worry too much about those right now, but just know that this forward bending effect can be soothing on the nervous system. This element of having your feet on the floor can be very grounding. And when it is an inversion and your head's below your heart, that's where you start to get this impact of stabilizing the nervous system. So there's lots of goodness in all of these shapes. When you're done, just step your feet together. You can kind of shake out your body a little bit if it feels intense. And that's that. So again, please email me if you have questions about Prostituted Padottanasana or anything. I'm happy to answer. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.